Yeah, we back. We back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to when I dropped last night. Last night, we dropped a classic video, man. Classic material. Last night's video was about how Europeans love to rewrite history. They love to rewrite the pages of history to make it seem like they are the protagonists in the storyline of history. But nah, man, we had to debunk that. And last night's video was a classic. And in that video, I read a piece of a letter that was written by British abolitionist Thomas Clarkson. And the letter was written to the King of Haiti. Now, in this video, I'm going to be diving into some more letters written between Thomas Clarkson and the King of Haiti during that time, King Henry Christophe. All glory and praises due to the ancestor. You already know what it is. But this video is going to be called Lessons in Leadership, right? Lessons in Leadership. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When King Henry Christophe died, Haiti died, all right? Because after that, when the mixed race sons of the Frenchmen came to power and they decided to pay reparations to the French government, man, listen, Haiti never recovered. We spent over 100 years paying reparations to the French slaveholders, bro. Over 100 years. But in this video, I'm going to show you how King Henry Christophe navigated the waters and how we navigated negotiations with the French government. And this should be a case study for all black men who maybe one day you want to be a leader yourself. You want to be a head of state yourself. Maybe one day you're going to be in the position of power yourself. Today, I'm going to show you how a real black man stands on business when you sit down at the negotiation table. And if every black leader around the world had the same pride and dignity, had the same energy, had the same temperament, had the same mentality as King Henry Christophe, man, I'm telling you, I can only imagine where our people would be right now. Now, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's jump into the first letter. As you can see, take a look up on the screen. This letter was written on September 7th, 1819, and it was written from Thomas Clarkson to King Henry Christophe. Thomas Clarkson starts off the letter by saying this: I had the honor of writing to your majesty in June last by Mr. Davis, in answer to your letter relative to a treaty with France, and I now send you a duplicate of that letter by Mr. Burt, to whom I feel much obliged for his politeness in giving me timely notice of his intention to return to Haiti. Since that time, Mr. Villevec has again introduced the island of Haiti to the notice of the Chamber of Representatives of France. He read a report there, which was so far approved of that it is ordered to be printed and to be recommended to the attention of the king's ministers. He advised France to use a liberal policy towards the chiefs of Haiti. He had no objection to acknowledge their independence, but he expected that, on their part, should pay a sum of money to France as an indemnification to the ex-colonists for the loss of property which they had experienced in consequence of the revolution, and also that they should allow France the advantage of their commerce. As the report of Mr. Laisnay seemed to be generally, if not universally approved of, I should suppose that the ministers of Louis XVIII would offer to your majesty and to General Boyer a treaty upon this basis. The report now mentioned was read in the chamber based at the letter end of the month of July. I need scarcely observe that the sentiments of Mr. Laisnay, having appeared in the public journals, have become known throughout all of France. Now, time out. General Boyer, as we all know, the mixed race son of the Frenchman, he was the one that later down the line in 1825, after Christophe died, he was the one that actually agreed to pay reparations to the French government, right? So, like I said, after Christophe died, Haiti died. Now let's continue. Your majesty will find on reading over my last letter to you that I did not anticipate Mr. Laisnay's idea of an indemnification to the ex-colonists. This new idea has greatly altered the face of things since I last wrote to you. For if you consent to pay to France in indemnification, you ought to consider such a payment as the price paid for the acknowledgement of your independence. And if this is to be so, you will have a right to demand of France not only a free trade, but you will have a right also to insist upon her finding a guarantee. It is the business of France, if she receives the money and not yours, to find a proper security for it. And in this case, it might be advisable to tell her that you yourself would give the preference to Great Britain. Now, keep in mind, Thomas Clarkson, British abolitionist Thomas Clarkson, the British abolitionist Thomas Clarkson, oh yeah, the good white man. He's telling a black man that you should pay France. Even the so-called good white man, the abolitionist, is standing on the side of the colonists. Let's continue. Should such a treaty as that proposed by Mr. Laisnay be offered to you, it becomes an important question with your majesty whether you ought to accept it. It is my sincere advice to you to accept an indemnification in exchange for the acknowledgement of your independence. And to demand of France in return a guarantee and a free trade in which you may participate like other nations. I take it for granted, however, that the indemnification will be reasonable and moderate, and such as you can pay without any great sacrifice, either at once or by installments in a course of years. My reasons for giving you this advice are the following. Number 1, it is a fact that a great number of the ex-colonists are reduced to beggary, and they depend upon pensions from the French government for their support. These men are constantly troubling it for money and urging it to acts of hostility against Haiti for the recovery of what they lost. This is one reason why the French government hesitates to acknowledge your independence. For if they acknowledge your independence, then the ex-colonists, losing all hope of recovering their property in Haiti, it would have the burden of supporting them and their families forever. By agreeing, therefore, to an indemnification, you would thus remove a constant source of discord between you and the French government. Number 2, you would not only get your independence acknowledged by France, but secured also, and let me observe that no nation after this would hesitate to acknowledge you as an independent state. Number 3, you will never probably have an opportunity of making peace on such a fair and honorable terms as under the reign of Louis XVIII. England will be more than likely a guarantor at his particular request. Then she would hereafter at the request of his successors. Number 4, France, by any means of the frugal and wise administration of Louis XVIII, is increasing her finances and her power in a manner far exceeding the calculations of politicians, so that in a few years she will become by far the most powerful nation in Europe. And I could wish that your majesty should make a treaty with her before she assumes so powerful an attitude. I've communicated my opinion on this subject both to Mr. Wilberforce and to Mr. Stephen, and I am happy to announce to your majesty they concur in them most cordially. If I should collect any further intelligence from France, I will omit no opportunity of sending it to you. You may rely upon my constant vigilance for the good of Haiti and upon my best efforts to promote it. I have the honor to be with great respect and esteem, your majesty's friend, Thomas Clarkson. All right, man, listen. This so-called British abolitionist telling a black man to pay reparations to the French slaveholders. Ha! Oh, my goodness. Let's continue. Let's jump into the next letter. As you can see, September 22nd, 1819, written by Thomas Clarkson to King Henry Christophe. Let's jump into it. As Mr. Burt informed me some days ago that he was about to return to Haiti, I sent him the duplicate of a letter which I wrote to your majesty in June last relative to your expected treaty with France, and also another letter dated September 7th on the same subject, both which letters he has promised to deliver to you. Yesterday, I was agreeably surprised by receiving a letter from your majesty dated June 8th, enclosing the second part of the correspondence between the Count de Limonade, that was the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Kingdom of Haiti, and the French General de Vincent. And as I understand that Mr. Burt will not leave London till the day after tomorrow, I hasten to communicate to your majesty my sentiments upon it. When I read the first letter of General de Vincent to the Count de Limonade, I suspected that the former was employed by the French government to try privately how far your majesty would be disposed to make any treaty with them. His second letter of February the 17th confirms the opinion which I had formed. There can be no doubt the French government has made him the organ of communication in this affair, but I am sorry to find that General de Vincent should have shown himself, notwithstanding his profession, far more friendly to the interests of France than to the interests of Haiti. If Haiti is not to be allowed to be independent, then what is she to be? She must either be an independent kingdom or a vassal of France. I know of no medium between the two situations. It is therefore with peculiar pleasure that I have read the copy of the answer to the Count de Limonade on this subject. Your majesty has replied through him in a frank and open manner. You have been firm and courageous. You have maintained your dignity and asserted your independence. I hope that the French government has already changed its views upon the subject. It was in February when General de Vincent's second letter was written, but it was not until the end of July that Mr. Laisné de Villevec made his report to the lower chamber, in which he recommended to the king's ministers an enlightened policy towards the two chiefs of Haiti. I am of the opinion that this report will produce a new overture to your majesty on the part of the French government, and I hope it will be more frank and more liberal than the former. As to Louis XVIII, I believe him to be an amiable and just man. This man said that that a right-wing French colonist monarch is a just man. Man, listen, man. Let's continue. I believe him to be an amiable and just man, and a man whose word may be taken. But I have not the same opinion of his ministers. I hope that your majesty will soon make up your mind as to the different articles of the treaty that you will be willing to agree with France. I shall be glad to hear the result of your deliberations, and shall wait with impatience for it. When I know what kind of treaty your majesty has resolved upon, I think it is possible that opportunities may occur where I may be able to promote your wishes concerning them. It was reported some time ago in the public papers that General Boyer has sent an agent to Paris to make a treaty with the French government, but I find from the French papers that no such agent has yet arrived. Now, listen, man, like I told you, the mixed race sons of the Frenchman, the mixed race sons of the white man, yeah, they couldn't wait to make a treaty. They said, listen, Thomas Clarkson said General Boyer already sending agents to Paris. Listen, man, the mulatto boys was like, listen, they couldn't wait They couldn't wait to pay their daddies back. They couldn't wait to pay their fathers back. Let's continue. Let's jump into the next letter. As you can see, take a look up on the screen. This letter right here was written by King Henry Christophe to Thomas Clarkson on November 20th, 1819 at the Royal Palace. Now let's jump into it. The King to Mr. Clarkson. You will see, my friend, in the letters which accompany this one, that I have given full and confidential answers to all the important questions you have raised in your own communications. I have answered from several different points of view. Since the negotiations which I am authorizing you to undertake will necessitate traveling and incurring various expenses, permit me, my friend, to present you with the attached letter of credit drawn on Reed, Irving and Company of London. You will thus have at your disposal the sum of £6,000 sterling. I cannot allow you to spend any personal funds on my behalf. If you should need any further funds in order to complete your mission, please let me know so that I can see they are provided. Now, time out. I always say it, but I said it before. I mean, King Henry Christophe, one of the most powerful and wealthy black men to ever touch the Western Hemisphere. £6,000 sterling in the year 1819. You convert that to modern currency, that's going to be a little over $500,000. You know what I'm saying? King Henry Christophe threw that at Thomas Clarkson like, nigga, hold that. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. Let's continue. Let's jump into the next letter. I believe this one was written on the same day, November 20th, 1819. King Henry Christophe to Thomas Clarkson. Christophe writes, my friend, following the suggestions made in your letters of the 28th of June, the 7th and the 22nd of last September, we have determined to ask you to make an overture towards opening negotiations for the signing of a treaty between Haiti and France. Fully convinced of your zeal and your friendship for our person, of our complete devotion to the cause of Haiti, which is that of justice and humanity, I have decided that there is no one in whom I could better place my confidence than in yourself, my worthy friend. I know of no one else who has more constantly and ardently dedicated himself to the sublime cause than you, who have devoted time, life, and fortune to his defense. In order to enable you to undertake this important mission, I have ordered our Minister of State and of Foreign Affairs to send you credentials and instructions as will permit you to begin negotiations in whatever way you think preferable. There is no need for us to indicate to a friend as informed and wise as yourself the essentials upon which we insist in the projected treaty. You know as well as we do the points on which we can never yield because you are fully aware of the best interests of Haiti. We ask then of you, my worthy friend, and of others who are champions of the cause, from the vantage point you occupy, to tell us the first steps we should take and how we can best serve the general interests of the Haitian people. Now, let's jump into the next letter. This one was written by the Duke of Limonade. I believe, as you can see, he has many titles, as you can see. The Lieutenant General of the King's Armies, the Commander of the Royal and Military Order of St. Henry, Major of the Light Horse of the Prince Royal, Secretary of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? AKA very powerful black man. You know what I'm saying? AKA very powerful black man. Now let's continue. The Duc de Limonade starts the letter by saying this. Instructions for Mr. Thomas Clarkson. Mr. Thomas Clarkson is authorized to point out to the French government that in the midst of a war of 30 years duration, the Haitian people, after shedding rivers of its finest blood, set itself up 16 full years ago as a sovereign state, free and independent, exercising its natural rights. The nation proclaimed its independence before all men by a solemn declaration of the 1st of January 1804. Since that great and glorious day, the Haitian nation has created for itself a stable and regular government, national institutions, and a system of laws. A new and enlightened generation is replacing the former population. The ideas, morals, customs, and even the habits of the people have undergone a total change. In a word, nothing any longer exists of the old regime. A constitutional and hereditary monarchy has been established, as have the order of nobility and a military order. An army and an agricultural system has been set up. The plantations, the lands, the houses, and other property which the ex-colonists own in the cities and the countries have been given away, divided, or sold. Everything has changed. The colonial regime has been overthrown, destroyed from top to bottom. The last vestiges of that odious system has disappeared from the soil of Haiti. For 16 years, the subjects of all maritime and trading nations except France have carried on a commerce with Haiti. These activities and mutual interchanges are in fact equivalent to a tacit, if not a formal recognition of our independence. Nothing then remains for the Haitian government but to see solemnized by treaties an independence which has already been implicitly recognized by the nations, been consecrated by the passage of time and by the institutions and privileges the people possess by rights of conquest in a bloody and cruel war. The events which led up to our independence are best not recalled here, but they are known to the entire world, reinforce the cause of the Haitian people, and are more than sufficient justification for the separation of Haiti from the former mother country. We have always felt that France, faced with such powerful arguments and moved by sentiments of justice and humanity, must unhesitatingly recognize by a solemn treaty an independence which she herself made inevitable, which can in no possible way be destroyed. As it is clearly evident to every reasonable observer, It was then with great astonishment, grief, and regret that we have seen her insist on maintaining her claims against Haiti, claims which are now meaningless and without foundation. France's former rights as a mother country of Haiti ceased to exist 16 years ago by the very fact of our conquest of the island and the act of independence by which the nation declared itself free and sovereign. Under the existing circumstances, any political or commercial relation between the people and governments of the two countries have been and are impossible and will continue so until the respective rights have been stipulated and recognized in a formal treaty. This situation has brought about a painful state between the two nations. One might say a state of permanent hostility, equally disadvantageous to the commerce and prosperity of both. His Haitian Majesty, impelled by sentiments of humanity and justice, wishes to discover the basis upon which a solid and durable peace may be built, and thus bring an end to an unfortunate state of affairs in a way mutually beneficial to France and Haiti. In the overture, which His Haitian Majesty had decided to make through his esteemed and worthy friend Mr. Thomas Clarkson, it is his wish to give unmistakable proof of his deference toward His Christian Majesty, the King of France and Navarre, and to demonstrate his ardent desire to restore peace and commercial relations between the two countries. The negotiator will point out that the ex-colonists were banished by the laws of Haiti as outlaws. Their former property was confiscated, their goods were given away, divided, and sold. The present legal owners not only shed their blood to earn a right to this property, but have invested enormous sums of money in making it again productive, since most of it was burned or destroyed during the civil wars which were waged on the island. What rights, what arguments can the ex-colonists then allege to justify their claim for an indemnity? Is it possible they wish to be recompensed for the loss of our persons? Is it conceivable that Haitians who have escaped torture and massacre at the hands of these men, Haitians who have conquered their own country by the force of their arms and at the cost of their own blood, these same free Haitians should now purchase their property and persons once again, money paid to their former oppressors? It is not possible. It is not for one moment to be considered. Free men can never accept such a condition without covering themselves with infamy. The ex-colonists are our natural and implacable enemies. They tortured us when it was in their power to do so, and they never ceased to seek an opportunity to renew their torture. It would therefore be altogether unjust and unreasonable to ask the Haitian government to come to the aid of such men. In the face of such powerful reasons, we feel confident that the question of an indemnity to the ex-colonists will be disposed of. Now, listen, man, like I told you, when Christophe was alive, he was standing on business. He was standing on business. He was not going to pay a single dime to the French government. And like I said, if we had black heads of state like this in the present day, like our forefathers, just imagine how things would be different around the world. But like I said, in the year 1820, Christophe died. And when the mixed race sons of the Frenchmen came to power, they sold the country away to their family. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now let's continue. With regards to the second matter, the exclusive rights of our commerce, the negotiator will observe that any free, sovereign, and independent state must be the master of its own commerce, and that it would be unjust to exclude now from all trade those nations which have maintained commercial relations with us for the last 16 years, and that an exclusive commerce with France would be contrary to our laws and our best interests. It would then be impossible for us to grant any nation exclusive rights to our trade. Justice, fairness, and good faith requires that the government of His Haitian Majesty should treat all countries favorably on an equal footing as we expect them to treat us. Now, damn, man. How come we don't got leaders like this in the present day, man? How come we don't got leaders like this in the present day, man? Let's continue. We feel that France should be satisfied to share in our commerce as a most favored nation. There is no doubt that, sharing thus, she should stand to profit enormously. The special protection which we accord agriculture and the resulting increase in our productivity, as well as the immense consumption of European manufactured goods by our rapidly growing population, cannot but render commercial relations between the two nations more and more lucrative. Regarding the third question, the difficulties existing between the northern and southern parts of Haiti, the negotiator should point out that the momentary division of the country is a family matter, which is of no concern to a foreign government. Our Declaration of Independence on the 1st of January 1804 declares one and indivisible both the territory and the cause of the Haitian people. Number 3, that there is therefore nothing to prevent His Haitian Majesty from signing a treaty in the name of all Haitians, provided that he takes as his point of departure the declaration by which both parties are solemnly bound. In wishing to negotiate for the entirety of Haiti, His Majesty has no intention of trying to extend his government over the southern part of the country, but rather feels that he is bound by his honor and patriotism to further the highest interests of the entire nation. Consequently, any attempt, proposition, or demand which would require him to depart from this point of view would be regarded as inadmissible, for the simple reason that the cause and the territory of the Haitian people are one and indivisible. Now, listen, man. Christophe is such a real dude. Christophe is such a real black man. Like I said before, man. During this time, the country was split into two governments. Christophe got the north, the mulatto generals got the south. And even though that the mulatto generals and Christophe are beefing right now, when he's negotiating with France, he let it be known, listen, ain't no division between me and the homies down south. You know, the mulatto boys down south, they still my family. They still the homies. You know, they on some bullshit right now. They on some dumb shit right now, but they still my family though. Them still my brothers though. It's not gonna be no divide and conquer. When I'm negotiating with you, I'm also negotiating on their behalf as well. Now let's continue. Though His Haitian Majesty is disposed to find a way of overcoming any difficulties which may present themselves, there are certainly cardinal points, such as those just enumerated, which he can neither surrender nor compromise. For further guidance, His Majesty refers to his honorable friend, Mr. Clarkson, to the principles expressed in his declaration on the 20th of November, 1816. His Majesty cannot depart one iota from those principles. Mr. Clarkson now knows the intentions of the Haitian government and the conditions under which it would sign a treaty. When he has learned those of the French government, if there is substantial agreement between the two parties, he will draw up a draft which he will forward to me, so that I may in turn submit it to my government as the basis for a definitive agreement. Signed, the Duc de Limonade. Man. Now, unfortunately, within about a year's time, Christophe would be dead. And then, you know, the mixed race boys with the white fathers from the South take over the entire island. And then they eventually come to an agreement with France to pay reparations, right? They came to an agreement without firing a single shot. Them boys didn't fire a single bullet. And I don't blame them because, like I said, that was their fathers. The French were their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles. So I didn't really expect them to, you know, go toe to toe and, you know, start blasting against the French. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna blast on your own family. So, you know, unfortunately, Christophe died within a year. And, you know, it is what it is, man. But you know, it is what it is. But sometimes I think like, man, what if Christophe stayed alive? What if Christophe's government was allowed to, you know, reign supreme? You know, things might look very different today. But anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari. That's Celine back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in the ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching me, blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage. I got business, this shit is an art. And they can never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.